Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and or good night. This is the overlay class for console to laptop. This is an industry standard way, and if you are new, you're just playing video games and you just want to test it out on how to do this, that's great. It's set up for beginners. One tip, when you're waiting for your video capture card to come in the mail, install OBS and or Streamlabs. Both are free. They're both incredible and great for Mac or PC. Streamlabs is a little more practical, but OBS is just a little better with some resolution buff. Just because I'm showing you the industry standard, you want to use OBS because it's just better. First of all, if you looked at my website, you bought a capture card. Almost to this one, it doesn't have to be 4K if you are a beginner, but that is the industry standard. USB 3.0 if you have an older laptop, such as MacBook 2020. It should come with an HDMI input and output. And then, on the back side, this should be the 3.0. And it should look like this. And then if you are a streamer, there should be a small slots for your mic and headphones if you're going to go that route. But I'm not going to show you the streaming route. This is just for overlay and play. If you live in other countries, you'll probably see some things that are exactly like this. So before I get any further, depending what kind of laptop you have, PC, Mac, if you have a newer laptop and can't afford a higher budget, you might want to use Elgato. I'm not sponsoring it at all, but it might save you time because it has a USB-C. If you're getting an adapter, which most streamers do, they give you options on where to plug in your mic if you're having some mic issues, either through that USB or through directly that video capture card. Okay, so when you open your box, this blue cable thing should connect through your adapter to the video capture card. USB-C or Lightning video capture cards are sometimes very expensive. So this is why I'm repeating this cable, because it still works with modern and older computers. Obviously, if you have an older computer with a USB hole already in it, you don't need an adapter. The only reason why I recommend having an adapter, even if you are a beginner, is so you could do really cool things later if you're going to turn this into a career. It is highly suggested, just because it will have extra ports that the lightning ports that your Mac or Windows can't handle. As you see here, 2 extra lightning, 2 extra USB, and then 2 slots for those memory cards. And then in your video capture box packaging should come with an HDMI cable with 2 male plug-ins into your output and into your display or TV. Save that packaging and manual. It is just good advice. Next step, your console, Switch, PlayStation, or Xbox, because the first step involves the console's HDMI cable. And then, first step is literally just make sure that HDMI is plugged into your console first, and then you want to connect it. Connect your console's charger and turn the TV on, because now we want to put the console's HDMI cable into the video capture card's HDMI input hole. And then on the second step, get your video capture card's HDMI cable, plug that into the HDMI output, and then you want to take the other strand and then plug that into your TV or display's output. What this does is allowing you to see a larger screen in terms of gameplay instead of looking at your dang small laptop. In total, what this does with the video capture card is that it syncs with the TV, the console, and the laptop. No matter what display or TV, ensure that the yellow, white, and red wires are connected correctly. Third step, from your TV or display, ensure which source is connected to the console. And always make sure your console, oh my god, the focus, its charger is connected and it is charging and it is on. With the game, the TV and your laptop should get the video game's sound all together. So mute one of them and play one with headphones or not with headphones. Fourth step, take your video capture card's blue cable and connect it to the USB 3.0. Yay! Get that adapter that you may have bought and ensure that it has a USB-C connect if you're getting something like this over here with a USB output system. And I'm showing this because you might want to do other stuff in the future. Maybe you don't care about that future stuff and you just want a small adapter, just like this one. That is me trying to get a better focus. And then connect that video capture's blue cord right into it. Fifth step, get your laptop and then plug the adapter into the laptop. Freaking awesome! If you have almost exactly my video capture card, it should display this blue neon light, meaning that it is turned on through all its connections. If it does not do this step, you might want to consider a refund. Turn on your console and open your OBS, and then let me show you what it looks like when you're doing it. When you have your OBS open, you turn on your console, and booyah. The reason I love OBS and why many is that it automatically tries to find the source of your console. And then again, if not, you want to look down and then choose any of these options, such as your video capture device, to make it appear if you're having issues. And then, depending what else you're doing, if you're not streaming, you could ignore the audio mixer, you could ignore the scene transitions. You just want to get by the controls for start streaming or start recording and then stop recording. And then, yay, you're pretty much ready to go. You can start recording and playing. So, overlay and recording is so simple. You record, you do your gaming, and you end it. So, yeah, and if you're streaming, you would do that if you have the right plugins, but we don't because that's not my focus. So, we press recording, it's rolling, and yay, there's Hornet. That's who you're playing. And I'm going to just do something so simple, get off the bench, and just, my focus. Attack, 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 yay, something exciting. Obviously it's not like this is just for demonstration purposes. You stop the recording. After you record, if you have PC, I'm not a PC gamer, but what you do to inform you is that from your OBS footage on your PC, you want to click File on the top left corner of the OBS window and select Show Recordings to instantly open the folder. In Mac, all your footage goes into your Movies folder. And here's what I would recommend when you go to your Movies folder. Create a file for Switch 2 or Xbox or PlayStation OBS to organize your footage. Outside of that, within your Movies folder, from OBS, from the top over here, that is where your movies are going. And then personally, as I record, I have two desktops. One desktop you're recording, on another desktop on your Mac is your files folder. Just so you can go back and forth and organize as you film and go. And then what I like to do after I record, I just drag those things into whatever that folder is called, anything relevant to whatever you're doing. and then rename it. The title of the footage should be the title of whatever you are making. Should it be on YouTube or whatever else? And yes, you do want to number them because it just makes life easier and makes your job effortless. Why we number footage? In case you are film editing for yourself and individually, it makes sure you're organized and you can kind of have a sense of where things are. There's many titles that require this method through video games, other film, but mainly I'm showing you how to do this if you're going to be a professional quality assurance and or work for a video game streamer who may need a second eye or talent. I can go on all day about that spectrum on a whole nother video, but over here what's more important is overlay. So let's get to the method right now. Now, before you do any recording, do a controller test, do the game itself, do something kind of not important. You want to test the functions depending on the genre and game. In film and media, there is a standard rule of time delay, such as, you start rolling, recording, quiet on set. Whenever you start recording, make sure your character is still, we're going to start recording, and that when we start recording, never play immediately. We want to ensure a few seconds of delay so we make the video editing process just feel a little better. In video editing, this allows for synchronization. And then once you're ready, we're going to go with intent. So I'm going to beat these baddies as much as possible, but I'm going to try to keep it short. Also, boss battles are a huge in-demand feature for your kind of job and what you're doing. If someone's working on a trailer for marketing, social media, and you see this footage in YouTube, which makes a trailer exciting. Now, on the video game trailer spectrum, they're never freelancers. Who they are specifically are game capture directors who are frequently used to obtain high quality gameplay footage for game trailers. You really want someone in-house for that. They're never going to let that footage come to someone who they don't know, okay? Just to let you know. The only exception to that rule would be if they so happen to hire a QA, video game tester, and they so happen to have better footage than what the other people have recorded. Some big companies may need to hire game testers who have a speedrunning background just because they can meet tighter deadlines than some of their in-house ones. Oh, good God, I died. Usually before I end the recording, I want to make sure that the footage and the goal was met. Such as, okay, I died. They probably don't want to show that in the trailer. So after I go to the save point, I could go to stop the recording. Just because that's another delay too. Yay, I got my footage. I'm going to drag it into the folder I'm working on, such as Silkson, how to, blah blah blah. And then in there, I got my first and second, and this is the third footage. For the best experience ever, have really good headphones. Doesn't have to be crazy expensive. Your first main controllers and an additional set of controllers. More specifically, have fun, especially if you're doing it for yourself and or doing it as a job. A few special pointers. Overlay footage, editing, and gameplay has a hidden art and role in the video game industry, and I'll discuss more about that in another video. The actual work and process is a little BS, but at the end of the day, it's rewarding. Because most of my experience to what I'm sharing with you is really how to do it individually and or if you are working with other streamers. The use of overlay is very powerful, but there's tons of consequences if you don't use it right. So please do that to your own discretion and follow your local and or international laws. And remember to follow copyright laws. Also, never use unverified third-party overlay. Streamlabs and OBS are just the standard. There's tons of overlay out there, such as in the App Store, that will steal your data and information. For standard advice, what I would tell people that I wish that people have told me when I was an intern was that I think you need to try to establish a boundary for what you gain for pleasure and what you gain for profit. Now, it's entirely different. Like, you looked at my channel, I do game for pleasure, but I'm not directly related to Hoyoverse or Nintendo when I post, the Star Overdrive. I'm saying this because it's more direct with the pipeline, just because so many of us are influenced by, Assassin's Creed, Nintendo, or even Hollywood stuff, other media stuff. Of course, what I'm saying is half true and half not true, just because there is a market for those big companies to hire or sponsor those successful streamers. If you are someone who can't guide carefully through a conflict of interest, you should probably not start a YouTube channel for Nintendo or Hoyoverse or whatever if you still want to work with them. And you should learn that early than later. That's more specific into individual creation, but if you are interested in working for video game companies and have social media experience, don't ignore that at all. They have actual really cool stuff. Social media teams, community roles, and digital strategy where they actually need a fan background of the game to communicate with other fans to build engagement. And that's part of their marketing and brand strategy. So don't ignore it. If you're someone who just loves the art of overlay in the future, both the traditional way and modern way, the best jobs that you can think about would be a stream producer, a broadcast technician, or overlay technician and or overlay artist. The best overlay job that you can have is being an overlay technician and or broadcast technician for games such as League of Legends, for their broadcast live streams, for when all the gamers are playing and people are watching. It's very exciting. I mean, it's good for you if you really love technical setup, then you should really consider it. I wouldn't say friends anymore, but I used to know someone who used to work for League of Legends as an overlay technician and has said through our conversations, this is like a while back in 2018 before COVID, and has said that it was the best job that they have done and it was very rewarding. Onto the G-Force is my next video. That was enough, and thanks for watching!
Yawning without covering your mouth. Uncouth.